Thank you. Where the heck did that come from? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for waiting for us. Let us call the meeting for February 17th, 2026 City Council meeting to order at 6:37. The public is encouraged to join the meeting online or by phone at the numbers printed on the agenda, which can be found on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov, or in person. Main Auditorium, South Coast Air Quality Management District, where we sit. We have also allowed public comments to be submitted in advance to the city clerk. If any were received, they will be noted for the record when we get to the public comment period. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you are giving your permission to be televised. This meeting will be rebroadcast every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and alternate Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and archived viewing on the city's website. So we will proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Pro Tem Lowe, you're still low. If you would do that for us, and then please stand after that for the invocation from Pastor Cordova.
Please place the flag, hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Holy One, source of all wisdom and compassion, we gather today as a city of many peoples, many stories and many hopes. In this chamber where decisions are made and futures are shaped, we pause to honor the sacred diversity of our community. Today is a rare and beautiful convergence. For our Muslim neighbors, it is the beginning of Ramadan, a season of fasting, reflection, and recommitment to justice and mercy. For many in our Christian and Afro-Creole communities, it is Mardi Gras, a day of joy, resilience, and cultural celebration born from histories of migration and struggle. And for millions across Asian and Pacific Islander communities, it is Lunar New Year, a time of renewal, family, and hope for blessings in the year ahead. 3 traditions, 3 histories, 3 ways of seeking light in a world that often feels heavy. All of them live here, right here in the neighborhoods, workplaces, and families that make up our city. We give thanks for the richness of what these communities bring, for the discipline and compassion taught in Ramadan, for the joy and cultural pride expressed in Mardi Gras, for the renewal and intergenerational wisdom celebrated in Lunar New Year. May their values guide us as leaders and public servants. We pray for every resident of this city, those who feel seen and those who feel invisible, those who are thriving and those who are struggling, those who were born here and those who arrived seeking safety, opportunity, or a new beginning. Grant this governing body clarity of mind, steadiness of purpose, and courage to act with fairness. Help them create policies that protect the vulnerable, uplift families, and strengthen the bonds that hold our community together. On this day of sacred convergence, remind us that diversity is not a challenge to overcome, but a gift to celebrate. May we honor one another's traditions, celebrate one another's joys, and carry one another's burdens. May peace, justice, and compassion guide every decision made in this room tonight. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Pastor Cordova. I'm always looking for clarity, so I appreciate that. City Clerk Santana, if you would please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
I'm here.
Councilmember Liu?
Here.
Councilmember Tang?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe?
Here.
Mayor Tai?
Here. Thank you. And Mr. Fox? I didn't do that. Mr. Fox, are we good on the agenda?
Please enter your
There are no changes to the agenda.
Terrific. That will, it's approved as submitted, and we have no special presentations.
Please re-enter your access code followed by
City
the
Manager,
pound or
any
hash
reports
sign.
and recommendations?
No additional reports this evening.
Shall we
To
wait?
enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the or hash.
I thought you were doing that.
So obviously when you put everything into
Are we good?
that was my fault.
Muted.
Oh, we're good to go now. Okay, thank you very much.
They still didn't like it.
Now is the time for public comments. Public comments is the time reserved on each regular meeting.
Referring to it because I was like 100, but I'm like, now I'm like,
We're good? For
I
now?
think so.
We're
Let's give
good?
it a try.
Again? Thank you. Public comments is the time reserved on each regular meeting agenda to provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the council on consent calendar items or other matters of interest not on the agenda that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Although the City Council values your comments, pursuant to the Brown Act, members of the City Council or staff may briefly respond to public comments if necessary, but no extended discussion and no action on such matters may take place. There's a 5-minute maximum time limit when addressing the City Council. And at this time, we'll call up speakers who have submitted a speaker card first. Then City Clerk Santana will ask for those callers joining the teleconference who may wish to speak under public comments. And I have a few speaker cards here. First, we have Merlinda Tan. Ms. Tan, it's your turn to speak if you'd like to speak to the council.
Okay. Hi, I'm Merlinda Tan. Okay. This is my first time, so 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah. I think I have enough. I don't know what to say.
Tell us, what did you come here to talk about?
Okay. Okay. I'm okay right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Next, Sonia Reed.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, and happy Lunar New Year. I'm Sonia Reed. I'm the chair of Macon Spirits Pride, Military Outreach, a program supporting our active duty military families, Camp Pendleton, 29 Palms, Fort Irwin, and the Air Force Base in Los Angeles. This year, we would like to give you an update of our 2025 actually success that we have, and we also want to thank all of our members of the City Council for your continuous support, which is so crucially needed, and also our community partners within our community in Diamond Bar and Walnut. Last year, we provided about 10 tons of food amongst the 4 bases that had been distributed. We had 97 turkeys delivered to Fort Irwin, which is our main focus right now. Fort Irwin is an Army base in really, really bad shape because there's nobody of assistance or supporting the base. So we also donate about $1,600 with diapers to the base. And for the toy drive, we had over 70 bicycles donated by Merlinda here. And the lines went around the buildings because it was the only toy drive they had. And we also supported about 66 families and handed a check out in the amount of $7,000 to the gas card program, which we call the gas card program. But this is for low-ranking service members if they have to go to hospitals or go around the base. And so we want to share this with you and the importance to really support our active duty military families. They give so much, and even though we thought we'd done so great and so much, but in actuality, it's really very little what we give as a community and everyone else. And with that, I would like to share what the base provided for us as a thank you. So this was our thank you when we went handing out Christmas presents, when we handed out the Christmas presents. And I encourage members of our city council, the next time we do it, anyone that would like to join us to please do so. Let me tell you, you come back with a different attitude because the appreciations of the families when they pick up the gifts. As you can see it, one of them said, "Thank you for the turkey." That was when they had the military, when they had to the government shutdown. So with that, that concludes our presentation. And thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Next, I have Cynthia Yu.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and members of the audience. My name is Cynthia Yu from Diamond Bar Library. I'm excited to share with you some of the library programs we have coming up. Join us tomorrow, February 18th at 10:15 for a fun play date in the sandbox. Dig for treasures, explore sand toys, and enjoy this spatial sensory experience while bonding with other families. This program is for ages 2 to 5 years with parents or caregivers. On Monday, February 23rd at 4, join us as we celebrate the power of friendship. Learn the importance of friendships, of personal well-being, then create a beaded friendship bracelet to keep or give to a friend. This program is part of our Adult 101 series for teens ages 13 to 17. Come celebrate Lunar New Year at the library on Thursday, February 26th at 4 p.m. We'll provide an assortment of arts and crafts stations for kids to learn about Lunar New Year traditions, as well as special treats for all to enjoy as we welcome the Year of Horse. This program is generally sponsored by the Diamond Bar Friends of the Library. Please visit our website, lacountylibrary.org, for more information about our services and programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yu. That brings us to Claudia Washington.
Greetings, members of the Diamond Bar City Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I wanted to express concern about the possible closing of yet another elementary school in Diamond Bar, Neil Armstrong. We've been informed, the community, that Neil Armstrong may close possibly at the end of this year or at the end of the 2027 school year. And I'm concerned because another elementary school was closed and is slated to become apartments. That means that if Neil Armstrong closed, there would only be 2 elementary schools left in the city of Diamond Bar, and loss of students was expressed as the major concern. I personally don't think enough has been done to try to recruit students to the school to make it maybe a magnet school. I'm concerned about the loss of elementary schools because Diamond Bar is landlocked. There is not a lot of available land to be developed in the city of Diamond Bar. And while people think that there is diminishing population, I think that there very well may be in future years a surge. And I would like to see the school retained as a school and something done to use it in the area of education rather than to be the school closed and possibly redeveloped in apartments or housing of some type. I would also like to know the possibility of changing the school from Pomona Unified School System to the Walnut School Systems in hopes of changing the school. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Washington. I have a card for Willie Mae Harris.
Good evening to the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. I'm here to speak on the same subject as Ms. Washington. I am in opposition to Armstrong Elementary School closing. At least that is the proposal. Now, there were three reasons. Well, the first being low student enrollment. We hope to change that, but the reasons we were given, and I'm talking about the school district of Pomona when they addressed Diamond Bar parents at a recent meeting, was ICE, which I don't see as a permanent problem. It is a problem right now with students, not necessarily at, well, not at Armstrong, but in Pomona, certainly. Older homeowners, of which I'm one, but we still have students. I have a second grader who attends that school. I'd like to see that continue. Okay, and the third reason given was the cost of housing in this area. Now, I've been a resident and a homeowner for the past 43 years plus. Now, that school is in my neighborhood, and I am a taxpayer, and I don't see that as being a betterment for our community. It is a neighborhood school, and I happen to believe that a lot of residents who fought against this last year, and the school continued this year. Now, what is being proposed is Armstrong, the closure of Armstrong, and everybody moves over to the other elementary school, the Golden Springs. Now, Diamond Point has already been closed, so there were 3 schools in our area. Now we will only be left with 1. I'm concerned about the impact, not only of the community, and I'm talking about futuristically speaking. Once you close a school and it's put on the auction block or surplus property, then it's gone. We don't know what will happen in that event, but I'm just talking about the immediate plan. That school will be impacted. There are, things that need to be rectified at that school, like the addition of bathrooms, the addition of facilities, and it's my understanding that the plan is to just transfer those students over and have the upgrades, new classrooms develop of the following year or extend it on out into the future. We do not know when that will happen. We don't have a guarantee. And as a taxpayer, I'm disappointed that I have voted for bonds to enrich the education of the students of Diamond Bar, but instead it seems to have gone to Pomona, and we seem to be left in the lurch because we just don't have the facility anymore. So the second agenda item was to continue the school. That's from the Pomona Unified School District, to continue the school and have the improvements made prior to transitioning there. And if this is going to happen, that would be my preference. The first is to just sell the school, move over, and come what may. I don't think that as a homeowner, our interest is being served. I don't think our community is being served. And there are people in this chamber who can make a difference. And I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm standing in opposition to that happening. And I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. City Clerk Santana, are there any
Mayor,
folks?
I did want to interrupt. We are having an issue with our teleconference audio. So if you would give me 1 minute to
Sure.
allow Guy to enter the number one more time. There are some callers on the line, so I want to make sure that they're able to speak if they want to.
Please enter your... To enable audio controls, enter your...
Okay, that worked. Thank you so much. Also, for the record, no emails were received for tonight's public comments. And at this time, if any member of the public joining the teleconference would like to give a public comment, please click on the raised hand icon in your GoToWebinar program now. And there are no hands raised, Mayor.
Very good, thank you. All right, then, if there's anybody else in the chamber that would like to address the council, now would be the time. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close public comments. And that brings us to a schedule of future events, which will be followed by the consent calendar. Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On the schedule of events, the Planning Commission will be meeting on Tuesday, February 24th, starting at 6:30 p.m. in the Windmill Community Room at City Hall. There will be free catalytic converter etching on Wednesday, February 25th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Calvary Chapel on Golden Springs. And our next City Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 3rd, starting at 6:30 p.m. here in the AQMD Auditorium. On the consent calendar this evening, you have the approval of the February 3rd regular meeting minutes, ratification of the check register dated January 28th through February 10th, approval of the treasurer's report for January, approval of an appropriation for special legal services, and approval of a funding exchange agreement with Metro, and approval of a second amendment to an agreement with M&S Engineers, for design services, both related to the Diamond Bar Complete Streets project, including a determination that the agreements are categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. That concludes the consent calendar this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Is there anybody that would like to pull any items for discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to pull an item number 7.5, and I'll make a motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar.
Very good.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second from Mayor Pro Tem Lowe and from Councilman Chow, and we'll take that up. Omar, do you want to take that, everything except item 7.5 now?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Tai?
Yes. Passes 5-0, and that leaves us with item 7.5. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just need some help understanding the, under the analysis of your report, the STP-L exchange. And what I need help with is that after we have an amount of $10,569,000, and after the exchange, we got $10,577,000. So we're $8,000 in the black. So that's sort of magic to me, and I like it. So I'd like to know how we got that.
I will defer to Public Works Director David Liu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. If I could just refer you to page 46 of your packet, we have a list of funding sources. First and foremost, let me just make it very clear that we're merely swapping the federal money, the $1.16 million, in agreement with Metro for the same amount of money that's coming from Metro Prop C pot. So having said that, if you look at that table that we have prepared on that specific page, the first column, the currently approved list of funding sources, that's what is currently approved and budgeted in this.
Excuse me, can somebody show the paper on the screen? Can anyone in the...
What's on the?
I don't believe we have the ability to do that.
We cannot? So, okay.
It's on page 46.
It's on page 46 of the agenda packet.
Okay, Mr. Liu, go ahead.
Okay. So first column, there's a list of funding sources. And currently, as approved by the City Council, is the $10,569,000 that's in the current year budget. And going forward, as proposed, when we swap the 1.16 million, that's and then the subsequent and the numbers below that, the 1.16, those are the adjustments that that we're making. So after when those adjustments are made, you will see, as an example, in Proposition C, currently approved amount is $328,000. But going forward, because of the exchange, we'd reduce that 328 to 150,000, resulting with not necessarily saving, but resulting with 178,000 that we can use for other projects in the future. And then if you look at the Measure M funding source, currently as budgeted is 380,000, but going forward after the swap, we do not need that $380,000 anymore. And you see that on the third column there. And then similarly for the Measure R money, 600,000, we won't need it anymore. They'll be reserved for future project. So if you go to the third column under the last column there, when you subtract those savings from the 1.166, that's the result of the 8,000. It's not necessarily that we gain 8,000. It's just that, when it comes to the use of Prop C, Measure M, and Measure R, we no longer need the use of those three funding sources. We can go ahead and plan that for future project.
Mayor Pro Tem. You good?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is very interesting math. When you say we don't need that anymore, that's not something we normally say because we always need something. Help me understand what that means.
Well, first of all, we already have awarded a construction contract for the contractor to start the construction in the next couple of weeks. But most importantly, because of the swap of the money with Metro's Prop C money, the 1.16, we were able to make some adjustments in terms of the amount of the specific amount from the various funding sources. So that last column, the other way to look at this is if you look at the last column, upon receiving or exchanging that 1.16, we were able to reduce the usage of the amount from Prop C, Measure M, and Measure R, resulting in an additional $8,000.
The Prop C monies, the 328 and the Measure M, the 380 and the Measure R, 600, are those one-time fundings or is that funding contingent upon a particular project?
No, those are allocated to the city on an annual basis per capita.
Per capita,
So, yes,
okay.
so every year we get a certain amount from the county.
And have we, do we use up the amount that we're allocated every year that we get it?
Yes, we pretty much use it towards our street projects in the capital improvement program.
Well, then why is it that we do not need the additional 150, the 178 under Prop C? I thought that we were, that construction and repair of our roads costs have risen so much that we are really in dire need of additional funds.
Well, part of the reason is because the 1.16 million is coming from the funding source is Prop C from Metro.
So we're just converting Prop C money into the STPL exchange money is what we're doing, right?
We're swapping the federal money in the amount of 1.16 with the equal amount of 1.16 in Prop C money from Metro.
And if I can maybe add, and David, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Prop C, Measure M, and Measure R, the reductions for this that we're proposing here for the Diamond Bar Complete Streets project, we will now be able to use those funds for other capital improvement projects in our paving program next fiscal year or the subsequent fiscal year. So that money stays with us, and we'll be able to allocate those funds for a different project.
Is this the first time we've done this kind of swap?
To my knowledge, yes, and it's because of the relatively small amount of federal dollars associated with a almost $11 million project would end up raising that cost by the time you go through all the federal requirements, that it just did not make financial sense. And so we were able to work with Metro for them to be able to use these funds on a different project in the San Gabriel Valley, and they committed now to replace them with local money that we will be able to use. So we're just simply swapping those funding sources so we don't have the stigma of using federal dollars.
Okay, thank you. That helps. And whatever we don't use, we can still bank it and use that in the
And that's
future.
reflected in the reduction of our Prop C, Measure M, Measure R in that table.
Okay, well, I understand the concept. I just still don't know we got the extra 8,000, but that's okay.
You have to share if you're going to. All right. So I got to tell you, I am encouraged that we have found a dollar amount that the feds aren't interested in taking from us, so we get to use it. That's the way that works.
Sounds
All right.
like it.
Who wants, on 7.5, who wants to move a motion?
I'll move the motion.
Okay. Second from?
Second.
From Stan. Thank you very much. Call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lo?
Yes.
Mayor Tai?
Yes, thank you very much. We have no public hearings tonight. That brings us to item 9, council consideration, the annual comprehensive financial report, also known as ACFR. Not everybody knows that. And that's for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025. Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Our Finance Director, Jason Jacobson, will be making the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Good evening, Mayor Tai and members of the City Council. It's my honor to present you tonight with the fiscal year 24-25 audit results and year-end highlights. I should note that our lead auditor, Christian Towns, is on the line, and I believe audio is now working. So if there is a question for Christian, feel free to chime in and she'll be able to help out. But I'm going to just present tonight on the, working the slides here. One second. All right, now we're in business. Tonight I'll be presenting on the external audit scope and results and the financial report and highlights, as well as how to access the report and follow up with a staff recommendation. So just to keep it brief, we had a clean audit with an unmodified auditor opinion. The statements were believed to be free of material misstatements. The auditors identified no material weaknesses with internal controls and had no disagreements with management in preparing the financial statements in the audit. They also identified no fraud, waste, or abuse. In addition to the financial audit, the single audit of federal awards was reviewed by the auditors in the amount of $910,000 in federal expenditures, which also concluded with an unmodified auditor opinion on compliance with no findings on internal controls or non-compliance. On to the financial report and highlights. The financial report, or ACFR, is comprised of three components. The introductory section presents management's overview of the organization's mission, governance, and structure. It summarizes significant accomplishments and challenges from the fiscal year and establishes context for the detailed financial statements and independent audit that follow. The financial section presents the audited financial statements, including the balance sheet, statement of activities, cash flow information, together with various notes describing accounting policies and significant financial matters. It includes the MD&A, or the Management Discussion and Analysis, written by management, which discusses financial performance and condition. In addition, there's required supplementary information, such as budgetary comparison schedules for the general fund and other major special revenue funds, as well as pension and OPEB schedules. The section also provides other supplementary information, including combining of individual statements for non-major funds and budgetary schedules. Lastly, we have the statistical section, which provides additional information for context and historical trends. Now I will just briefly review the governmental activities as reported in the ACFR. Just a little bit of a reminder, the government-wide statement of activities is a way of reporting the entity's finances in terms of economic value. Its main audience would be typically Wall Street or banks. It's similar to valuing a business. It's what makes really the financial statements hard to understand from a management perspective. I'll do my best to kind of keep it high level. As we move on in the ACFR, the fund financials are really where the operational impacts are seen as we budget and manage the finances on a day-to-day basis at the fund level. But just looking at the government-wide revenues here, this is all the funds contained here in one. We had overall revenues increase 2.4 million to 47.4 million. That's a 5.4% increase year over year. This was mainly due to the city's receipt of donated land for Stevens Field. And we had substantive one-time grants for capital improvements for city parks, such as Maple Hill Park and Pantera Park, as well as additional investment income year over year. This was offset by reduction in sales tax revenues of $350,000 and user fee charges of $160,000. Expenses year over year increased 3.4 million to 43.4 million, an 8.5% increase, mainly due to just normal cost increases for contracts and staffing, plus new software and sheriff contract increases, also as well as increases in the recycling fund expenses, as noted there, and that's coded to the community development line item there in the expenses, as well as we had additional expenses in the Prop A fund year over year. If you'll recall, we had the Prop A exchange where we sold 1.3 million in Prop A for general fund revenues. These increases were offset by an elimination entry that you'll see there as a decrease in the Parks and Recreation line item, which is a decrease, just a balance sheet entry due to booking of the Stevens Field and the capitalization of that asset. Lastly, at the bottom there, the City of Diamond Bar assets exceeded our liabilities at the close of the year by 401 million versus last year, 399 million. That's an increase of 2.2 million. year over year. And here is a chart of our net position over the last 10 years. You'll see gradual increases there in the recent history. The 2.2 million increase is reflected in the final year on the right there. Now we'll go on to the general fund. Again, this is more of a view of the city's operations from the standpoint of a citizen, from the board members, the city council, and residents and policymakers. The general fund revenues year over year were $30.6 million, and that came in at $485,000 under budget. The drop in revenues year over year is a total of $521,000. This is mainly due to sales tax. As I mentioned, there was a decrease of $345,000, a slight decline in one of our property tax line items, and an unexpected decrease in franchise fees of $93,000 year over year. General fund expenditures were $28.6 million for the fiscal year, which was $2.1 million under budget. Budgetary savings there include $71,000, which will be carried over into the current fiscal year 25-26 for ongoing initiatives related to the citywide fee update, additional costs related to labor relations and special legal services. Towards the bottom there, you'll see the transfers in and transfer out categories. Transfers in for the year mostly comprised of gas tax revenues that were used to offset qualifying general fund expenditures for road maintenance. And transfers out for the year were comprised mainly of ongoing payments for non-discretionary payments for insurance premiums and debt service, and as well as the capital improvement program funded by the general fund. Transfers in, net of transfers out, were negative $2.3 million. So this category was determinative in the final operating deficit of the year of $254,000 for the fiscal year. What I would like to point out, though, that this was an expected outcome. In fact, we had a budgeted deficit of $3.1 million for the year to fund one-time initiatives and projects, mainly CIP projects. The unspent portion of that transfer out component in the amount of $1.1 million will be carried over for the current year to wrap up those capital improvement projects. Namely, these are for projects at the Diamond Bar Center for facility upgrades, Sycamore Canyon Park Bridge, and Canyon Loop Trail habitat restoration, as well as the Diamond Bar Boulevard Complete Streets design phase. Now we will discuss the general fund balances. I wanted to first show you a snapshot of sales tax year over year. A question came up during our audit commission meeting. The sales tax year over year is something I did want to bring attention to. It is a bit of a financial concern for the city, and I know that our assistant city manager, Ryan McLean, has been explaining this to the residents and to businesses that our sales tax is in decline. And as a key funding source, I just wanted to point this out in case there was any further questions. But you can see there that the main line items are related to business and industry and fuel and service stations. And business and industry is down 10% year over year. Fuel stations down 12%. Fuel stations, as I mentioned before, are just highly correlated with the price of gasoline. Moving down below that, that's our total point of sale for the year was a little over $5 million, which was a 6% decrease year over year. Now below that, you'll see the county pool. That's from online sales, and a slight decrease there of 2% year over year. Plus, when you factor in the admin fees from the state, overall, we saw a decrease of 5%. Now looking at the governmental funds in relation to the general fund, we have here in the dark blue column is the general fund. All other government funds are there in the light blue. On the very right there, you can see general funds pretty stable. As I mentioned, we had a slight operational deficit there. We did see a decrease in the governmental funds year over year of $4.5 million, mainly due to capital improvement projects being wrapped up, some rather large ones. In this category of other governmental funds, that's our special revenue funds such as Prop A, Measure R, Measure M, our landscape districts, our park development fund. So you'll see those fund balances reflected there. And I do want to show our key reserves as we note here, if you could see the highlighted yellow portion, sort of the major section at the top there for the general fund, I've highlighted in yellow the unassigned reserve for the general fund. You can see there a slight increase of 1.28 million, and that's mainly due to just moving out reserves from the capital improvement project line item above there. That went from 2 million to 1.1 million, so that was a reduction of 900,000. In addition, we moved at the top there, the contingency reserve, $145,000 was moved out of there just because we don't need to hold that large a reserve based on our current year operating budget. The reserve only needs to be 25%, and the year-over-year budget reflected a decrease, and so there's a commensurate decrease in the contingency reserve. Overall, the Park Development Fund increased by $58,000. The Vehicle Maintenance Fund balance increased by $177,000. The Building Maintenance Fund by $68,000. And the Computer Equipment Reserve Fund decreased by $121,000. That's the fund where we're funding the ongoing implementation of the EnerGov land management system. So you'll see some utilization of that fund balance in the current fiscal year as well. Overall, these key reserves decreased $73,000. And that brings us to where to find the financial report. You can find it on the city's website. Search for the Finance Department, and it will be linked there within the coming days. And that brings me to my staff recommendation to receive and file the fiscal year 24-25 annual comprehensive financial report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody with us tonight that would like to make any comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comments. Any council members that want to pull? Go ahead.
Quick question. Can you remind me with the vehicle revenue fund, are we saving the money for, do we have that budgeted for something? I can't recall.
So the Vehicle Maintenance Fund it's capital replacement, so it also funds operations for our vehicles. In there, we have an annual budget for gasoline and maintenance, as well as any vehicle replacements that we are planning for the year. The current year, I believe we have a couple in there, and there's I don't know if there's a current plan to purchase with the existing budget. I believe they were running into some procurement issues, so we might be requesting to carry over that budget into the next year. But that's really all that fund is a replacement fund for the vehicles as the replacement for those items come up. We also fund it with the amount equal to the annual depreciation from the general fund. So if depreciation's $50,000 thereabouts, we will front that amount from the general fund so that it's going into fund balance. And so when we eventually need to replace something, we have the fund balance available for that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Liu.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director Jacobson, for this. I have a question on the revenue. So the sales tax, and we see in the franchise tax, we see a decline. Do we look at, is this like a temporary dip, or do we see a trend? And what assumption are we using for the upcoming year, next year?
So for franchise fees, Anthony here's the expert on those. I think he's seeing a prolonged decline. Last I heard, the waste hauler contract did negotiate a reduction there, but mainly the thing kind of propping it up is the cell sites. Those are getting adjusted annually by CPI. Other than that, it's Edison and SoCalGas. Those fluctuate year over year. Edison seems to be increasing. Last I recall, I think SoCalGas was rather flat. The other line items in there are related to refresh my memory. Cable franchise agreements, which are definitely on the decline. For sales tax, the projection is a slight increase for next year, if I recall, over the current year. I'd have to refresh my memory, but there's definitely not the increases that you've seen in the past 3 or 4 years. The trend is downward, and then it's sort of flattening, and then it'll slowly go up, 1 or 2% a year as far as the projections go.
What kind of assumption are we using to see it increasing?
The increase is just a general statewide projection from our consultant, and then they kind of fine-tune that for Diamond Bar. So it's, we are heavily reliant on the business and industry category and the fuel category. So oil prices obviously are a big factor there for the gasoline category. Retail, not so much, though retail is not trending in the direction we want to see. Obviously, Target is a big generator for us. And on the business and industry side, there's one or two large fish there, which are more specialty fields for our consultant to look at. But we are seeing downward trends there, actually. So we've had to revise some of our estimates around a couple $100,000 to the negative going forward.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Dr. Tang.
I have a question that the acquisition of the Stevens Field is categorized as a revenue. Is that, can you explain that? Because that should be a piece of the asset, right?
Yeah, it's an asset. It's offset. The revenue is offset by the expense, so it's just how we have to book it to keep the auditors happy. But it's not. It wasn't a cash entry or anything like that. It's just there's an asset, and I do have my finance supervisor here if you want further details. Maybe we can walk you through that after the meeting. But there is an adjustment to the revenue, adjustment to the expense, but it does get booked as an asset on the balance sheet, on the government-wide balance sheet.
All right, I will ask for your explanation later. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, seeing none, is there anybody that would like to make a motion for receive and file the fiscal year 24-25 annual comprehensive financial report?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Chow.
I will second.
And a second from Councilman Stan Liu. If you'll call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lo?
Yes.
Mayor Tai?
Yes, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And that brings us to council subcommittee reports and meeting attendance reports. Let's start with Councilman Chow.
Thank you, Mayor. Want to just wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. Last night was the New Year's Eve for those of us that celebrate. So it's the year of the horse, which apparently symbolizes energy, resilience, and independence and determination. And I happen to be a horse. And this year, apparently, it's the fire horse, which is the best horse year ever. Apparently, it happened. The last time we had a fire horse year was apparently in the 1960s, apparently, I was told. So it's a rare occurrence.
May I
1960s, right?
May I just say that I've heard you called worse.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Councilman Chow. Councilman Tang.
Yes, not only Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year to people who celebrate Lunar New Year, but we just learned from Pastor Cordova that today is also Ramadan and Mardi Gras for different religion, different culture. So this is a special day for all of us. So happy to everybody. And after listening to the budget, of course, that I'm concerned that the sales tax is decreased. So that we have to do a lot to see if we can improve our economy, improve the business. I think on the report it says that the town center is on the way, that we are looking forward to it, but that takes many years. And then currently we need to figure out something to improve our business. I think last year that I have proposed that we do something to check our code, to update our code to see if we can help the business. In the last week that I had the experience to go over a business of a gas station, and I found that according to our city code, the too much lighting at the evening is not allowed. I think I asked what kind of a code was that? What's the purpose of that? I think people, the answer I got is they probably don't know. It's probably a very, very old code, very old, that dated back 30 plus years ago. So even the staff now currently probably cannot tell why is that. So I think there are many many business codes that has been there for many, many years that currently I think we should be in a position to sit down to reevaluate those codes to see if we can update and change the codes so that help our business. And obviously we do see that the gas tax is decreased, so that whatever we can do to help our business, the gas station here, that to improve, increase their revenues or increase our tax, that we should sit down and see what we can do to help the business. So I hope this year we will have the opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tang. Councilman Liu.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff, for a wonderful presentation. And I think in the past 2 weeks, we have quite a few community celebrations, and thank our community for coming out and supporting our community through the Lunar New Year Festival. And 2 days ago, our Diamond Bar Community Foundation fundraiser. And as everyone said earlier, today is quite a special day for celebration so throughout the world and different cultures. And I'd like to wish everyone much joy, abundance, and good health. And I'll say good night. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Loh.
Thank you, Mayor. And to add to the community events, besides the gala and the New Year's, this morning Rotary held their student speaker contest, and a student from Rowland Heights, Scarlett Lee, was the champion. So congratulations to Scarlett for really good job, and thanks to Rotary for putting that on. This past period, Mayor and myself attended the audit subcommittee. It was 2 meetings, and so there we worked very hard on looking to make sure that our city spends your money in the way that it's supposed to spend, and we are always keeping a lid on that, and to just ensure that we retain transparency as well as fiscal prudence. With that, I would wish everyone happy Chinese Lunar New Year and whatever else you're celebrating. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, you know, it's an interesting time that we're in, because when I go to the gas station and it was $5 a gallon, it's like, oh my God, it's $5 a gallon. How are we going to get around this? And then most recently was $3.64 a gallon. It's like, woohoo! And the trouble is that we really want to keep the $5, but we want to we want to get it reimbursed to us at $5, but we only want to pay $3.25, $3.50. So we have our work cut out for us there. All 5 council members uniquely were attending at the annual Diamond Bar Community Foundation Gala on Sunday, and the highlight for everybody, I think, it was recognizing Steve Acciani, who is retiring after 37 years. And what a remarkable guy. What a remarkable imprint he has put on Diamond Bar High School. And it was 120 Diamond Bar Orchestra kids at the Diamond Bar Center. And it's, I don't know, I think that we could go to Dorothy Chandler and not see anything better. So it was a wonderful evening. It was great to be together. And again, congratulations to Steve Acciani on a job well done. With that, at 7:36, I will say goodnight and God bless you.